This coming Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, the beginning of our 40 days of Lenten pilgrimage. It's interesting to note, if you want to get into the numerology of it, that those 40 days start with Ash Wednesday and go through Holy Saturday, the day before Easter Day. But if you look at the calendar, that actually adds up to a few more than 40. And that's because every Sunday is a mini Easter. And so if you take those Sundays out, in other words, if you have 6-day weeks plus those extra days following Ash Wednesday, that's how you get to the 40 days of Lent. And that's why, if you're being really specific about things, we talk about those Sundays being Sundays in Lent, not Sundays of Lent, because they're Sundays in the Lenten season, but because they are Easter liturgies, they are not of the season. So that untangles a little bit of that organization of the liturgical year. But we begin this Wednesday with the very solemn ritual of having ashes placed on our foreheads, reminding us that dust we are and to dust we shall return. One of the things that's really wonderful about the way we journey together here at St. John's is that we understand Lent much more in keeping with how the folks who were coming up with the 1979 prayer book revisions understood Lent. Not about being sad and penitent and being how bad we are. And sometimes we can twist those words, dust you are and to dust you shall return, making it seem like we're worthless. Really, this is more an idea of preparing ourselves for more important things. Lent was originally, in the Christian church, a time to prepare newcomers for baptism at Easter. And if we can think about the springtime of the year, and the word Lent really comes from the old German word for spring, Lens, and it really has to do with preparing our hearts to bloom in the Easter season. So rather than being negative, it really is a time that we can have joyous preparation. And what better way to start that all off? We will begin, as we have for several years now, we will begin our Ash Wednesday liturgies singing the words that are attributed to St. Richard of Chichester, "Day by day, dear Lord of thee, three things I pray." So, of course, many of us have associations of that text with Godspell and that popular musical from the 70s. But we as Episcopalians, as Anglicans, have had a much longer association with those words. And that melody, that tune, which is named Sumner, was actually composed for the hymnal 1940, long before Godspell was ever thought of. That name of the tune, Sumner, has a connection with the composer, Arthur Henry Biggs, who was the cathedral musician in Spokane, Washington, and the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in Spokane is on Sumner Street. And so he named it after, very, kind of provincially, named it after his home location. But this is such a wonderful prayer for us to think about beginning this Lenten time of preparation. And then at the end of the service, we will sing another really loving and tender hymn, "Eternal Lord of Love, behold your church walking once more the pilgrim way of Lent," with this old French psalm tune, Old 124th. So that tune was composed sometime in the middle of the 16th century and gained instant popularity, not only in France, but really even more so in the British Isles, and especially up in Scotland. It sort of became an unofficial national anthem, and that there's lots of moments in Scotland's history where singing that tune had a real significance for military battles or political victories or times of cultural revolution. So this is a tune that has been very, very popular among English-speaking Christians for about 500 years. And the choir will also be at the 6 o'clock service, and so we encourage you to come with us at 7 a.m. or at noon for very simple services. We're very respectful of those of you that come at noon, might be on your lunch break, and that will be a modest service. And then at 6 p.m. we will have choir and a slightly more expansive liturgy, but all of these will be very manageable and really a way for us to start that Lenten journey in a way of prayer and in preparation. We invite you to join us for the beginning of a Holy Lent.